Baby, I love you, obey me or I'll fail you, come to my room, I'll take you abroad. These texts were allegedly sent by a self-styled godman in his 60s. His targets? Female students in their early 20s.
इसके पीछे एक बहुत बड़ी साजिश है.
He targeted female students from the economically weaker section category.
खुद अपनी आंखों से सारी चीजें की देखी किस तरह के बच्चों को परेशान किया जाए, छात्रों को परेशान किया जाए, जो टारगेट छात्राएं होती थी.
Not one, not two, not five, but 17 students accused the spiritual leader of molestation.
उनके ऊपर 24 घंटे की निगरानी रहा करती थी स्वामी जी की.
But how was the lid blown off this alleged scandal?
ये फेक विजिटिंग कार्ड इसने बना रखे थे यूएन और ब्रिक्स के.
From Barack Obama to Steve Jobs, he claimed his books were endorsed by them. He is 62-year-old Swami Chaitanyananda Saraswati. He adorned many hats: spiritual leader, government officer, institute director, globally acclaimed scholar, and even an author. But there was more to him than met the eye. I'm Vaishnavi, and today we'll dive into the story of how a self-styled godman who was trusted by thousands was ultimately dragged into police custody, facing charges of molestation, cheating, and much more. A 21-year-old student earned a scholarship to study at Sri Sharda Institute in Delhi. The institute was in Vasant Kunj, a posh South Delhi area known for luxury apartments, malls and prestigious schools.
बच्चों को विजिटिंग कोर्स करने के लिए अप्रोच किया जाता था और वहाँ की फीस काफी कम हुआ करती थी compared to other private colleges की.
For her, it was supposed to be a ticket to better future, but the reality was far different from what she had imagined. The director of the institute was Swami Chaitanyananda Saraswati, also known as Parthasarthi. His office was on the ground floor of the same building where classes were held. When the student first met Chaitanyananda, he looked at her weirdly, she said. But she didn't think much about it at the time. Everything changed after she suffered a sports injury. She said she began receiving late-night messages from Chaitanyananda. At first, they were casual texts. Then, his questions and messages grew increasingly personal. She said she received texts like, "Baby, I love you, I adore you, you're looking beautiful today, your hair looks great." She was shocked that the man who portrayed himself as a spiritual leader was sending her such texts. When she stopped responding, he became relentless. The pressure was constant. And then came the warning that shook her. He said, "If you don't obey me, I'll fail you." She was scared, not sure what to do and whom to speak to. Eventually, she confided in the associate dean. But instead of helping her, she was told, "You have to reply since he is the head." And other female students had been told the same. But she didn't give in. And so the harassment began. She received notices citing attendance issues. Marks were deducted from her exam papers for no reason, she said. Then she was told to delete all the chats she had with him by senior faculty members. And then she was threatened that if she voiced her concerns, it would affect her future. One day, Chaitanyananda called her to his office and addressed her as baby, she said. When she objected, she said he pulled out his phone, recorded her, and later sent the video to her on WhatsApp with the message, "You're looking beautiful." By June, things escalated during an industrial visit to Rishikesh. Around 35 students and faculty stayed at an ashram near the ghats. She said he would call girls at odd hours into his room. When she resisted, she had to face the consequences. She alleged that she was barred from sitting for her first and then her third semester exams. Her original educational documents were withheld by the institute despite repeated requests, she said. Later, she realized she wasn't alone. Dozens of women had had similar experiences. After a year of being harassed, in August 2025, many of them finally came forward, sharing what they had suffered. And it all began with an email. On 1st August 2025, an email from a group captain in the Indian Air Force to the university administration highlighted Chaitanyananda's harassment, arbitrary decisions, and inappropriate WhatsApp messages. Forced to take notice, within 2 days, on 3rd August, the governing council of the institute held a virtual meeting with over 30 women students. Their statements were recorded. 17 of them filed an FIR accusing Chaitanyananda of sending obscene messages, using abusive language, and sexual harassment. And then 3 women staffers also stepped forward. They had the same story. Investigations suggested that students were not only pressured into silence, but in some cases forced to comply with his sexual advances. They were threatened about their exams, grades, suspension, or even rustication. And most of the victims were from economically weaker section category, said the FIR. They felt their weaker financial situation compelled them to comply. What was supposed to be a place of learning turned into a trap for them. Children of armed forces officials were also among the victims.
उनको परेशान किया जाता, जो टारगेट छात्राएं होती थी उनको किस तरह से परेशान किया जाता था, उनको घंटों बाहर खड़ा किया रखा जाता था, उनके ऊपर 24 घंटे की निगरानी रहा करती थी स्वामी जी की। उसके बाद उनको किसी से बात ना करने देना, किसी से मिलने ना देना, इवन अगर उनके अभिभावक भी आते थे, उनके पेरेंट्स भी आते थे, उनसे भी नहीं मिलने की अनुमति नहीं दी जाती थी।
Chaitanyananda was also accused of sending messages like, "Come to my room, I'll take you abroad, no cost." One of the victims said, Swami used to ask girls about their shower routine. There were CCTVs near our rooms and bathrooms. He once asked me if I had sex with my boyfriend and whether I used condoms. His office, where many women said they were allegedly coerced, became a place of fear. Some even called it a torture chamber. Investigations also revealed that he had remote access to CCTV footage on his phone of the women's hostel, where nearly 75 students lived. And he also had his own room inside the women's hostel, said a TOI report. But he messed with the institute's DVR system, deleting the CCTV footage when people started getting suspicious, said some media reports. Now, his story didn't end at the institute. There was another side to him. He wasn't just the head of an institute or spiritual guru or self-styled god band. On public platform, he presented himself as a highly accomplished academician. His profile claimed an MBA and PhD from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, postdoctoral qualifications, and several honorary degrees. He also promoted himself as a well-known author. Online, his name appeared on 28 books and more than 140 research papers. One of his books, Forget Classroom Learning, supposedly had a foreword by Steve Jobs, calling it an unprecedented preparatory and guiding manual for the applied world of management. Another book, Transforming Personality, was said to be mentioned by Barack Obama during his presidential campaign and even carried a note of appreciation from former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. With his alleged qualification and polished image, he gained trust and influence, making it easier to hide the alleged abuse behind closed doors. And this wasn't the first time he had faced allegations. There had been controversy surrounding him even before. In 2009, he was booked for forgery and molestation charges. Then in 2016, one of the students from his institute slapped molestation charges on him. At the time, she was around 20 years old and had dropped out of the institute in just 8 months. She said, "As soon as I joined, Baba started sending obscene messages calling me baby and sweet girl. He harassed me after classes, confiscated my phone and forced me to stay alone in the hostel. He even called me at night and tried to touch me inappropriately. I was scared. When Baba told me to come with him to Mathura, I ran away, leaving all my belongings behind." But nothing happened. He was out on bail and then the case remained pending until now when new allegations came to light. Amid the scandal, Chaitanyananda was removed as the director of the institute by the management. The ashram he was associated with also severed ties with him. Police raided his premises, from where they recovered hard disk and a video recorder that was sent for forensic analysis. A Volvo car, allegedly used by him, was found in the basement of the institute. Police said that the car had a forged diplomatic United Nations number plate and it was seized. A lookout notice was issued to prevent him from fleeing to another country.
टीम बनी हुई थी। हमने अलग अलग स्टेटों में दिल्ली के अलावा हरियाणा, राजस्थान, यूपी, उत्तराखंड, वेस्ट बंगाल भी हमने टीमें रवाना करी थी। ये जो आरोपी है पार्था सारथी उर्फ चैतन्यानंद सरस्वती की तलाश में।
After around 50 days of manhunt, the police received a tip-off. Chaitanyananda was arrested on 28 September 2025 around 3:30 AM from a hotel in Agra.
इससे अभी 3 फ़ोन मिले हैं, एक आईपैड मिला है। उन सब की अभी जांच की जाएगी और कुछ विजिटिंग कार्ड मिले हैं जो कि ये फेक विजिटिंग कार्ड इसने बना रखे थे।
So on one visiting card, Chaitanyananda called himself a permanent ambassador to the UN. On another, he claimed to be a BRICS Joint Commission member and India's special envoy. A Delhi court then remanded him in police custody for 5 days.
इसके पीछे एक बहुत बड़ी साजिश है। मुद्दा कुछ हो रहा है। कुछ लोग इसके अंदर बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग हैं जिनके नाम भी हम डिस्क्लोज करेंगे। हर एक मीडिया को हम जाके एक रिटन में प्रेजेंटेशन देने वाले हैं विद द प्रूफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स। which will establish the entire thing कि क्या हो रहा है और क्या नहीं हो रहा.
The investigation was still underway at the time of publishing this report. In Chaitanyananda's story, many families from the economically weaker section believed that children were getting a chance to study under someone highly educated, and that faith allegedly put their children at risk. Now, we have seen other stories where God men preyed on young women. Asaram Babu, convicted of raping a minor girl in his ashram, sentenced to life imprisonment. He was granted parole multiple times on medical grounds. Then there's Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, who was found guilty of rape and murder, sentenced to multiple life terms. He was also granted parole multiple times since 2017. In 2025 alone, he spent 91 of 216 days outside prison. And over the past 5 years, he has been on parole and furlough for more than 366 days. But Gurmeet Ram Rahim didn't just have followers. He still has a cult-like following. Even after being convicted, people still worshipped him. His devotees followed his every word, lived by his rules, and often defended him even when crimes came to light. Now, what does this tell us? Blind faith gave all of them the power to manipulate, control, and exploit people for years. It also raises tough questions. First, why are convicted offenders repeatedly let out on parole? Second, do victims truly get justice when offenders spend so much time outside prison? So faith can be powerful, but blind faith can sometimes be dangerous. Such stories serve as a warning we can't ignore. So let me know which story or topic you want me to delve into next.